I'm interested to see where people are going to go on my bad point here, because who knows, maybe we'll disagree. I'm actually going to pick as my bad point, because I feel like this is another area where no one else... I haven't got the vibe people agree with me on this one, so I want to see. I'm going to say it is bad that Magisk has joined in place of Stown to Astralis. I feel like everyone else did the thing where it was like, look, it's what you call like a PR win. What Astralis... Magisk was not only a member of their great lineup, he was even a major MVP for them. That was why he played his best ever CS. Obviously, even when he left, he was good and he went to Vitality. He's had the hard times in Falcons, where, to be fair, at the end, he did sort of pick it up a little bit, but he was never anywhere close to, the star he was in Astralis many, many, many years ago. And obviously, look, Astralis do need to do something with their roster. There's clearly in sort of like a bad spot where, like, they can sort of like maybe make a playoffs, but they're not actually going to do anything at the big tournaments. And even then, they're borderline to do that. So the problem I have with this move goes like this. It really reminds me of exactly the move Virtus Pro just did. So you added Perfecto to VP, but you added him instead of Flammus. And it's like, but those roles don't make any sense. Now, here's the difference. At least in VP, it turns out they actually end up kicking Electronic, and maybe, who knows, maybe it was always planned that, like, Perfecto might be the IGL, or he might want to do that role. That at least makes sense. Right, in this team, I'm assuming you're not doing that because you got Huxley. Like, signing a Huxley is a sign that you aren't going to swap Magisk to IGL, because remember, that was a rumour of years and years back. He briefly did it in Astralis, and people have always wondered, would that be the next stage in his career once your fragging goes down, become an IGL? It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like they're just signing Magisk to be Magisk. Now, the reason why I hate this move, comparably to the VP one, is in VP, what Flammus did for that team was so when they used him in his real roles, was so essential to like them having any chance to win. And you looked at VP and you're like, mate, you already have a bad T side, bad fragging, and your players like ill-fit roles. Like, how is that in this guy gonna, like, that's not a superstar player. That doesn't turn the team around. I think it's worse in Astralis, because you know what? If you want to talk the second they make a playoff bracket, I'll be there with the fucking massive sign, Stown out, he is a choker. This guy is one of the worst chokers I have ever seen in like arena playoffs. But I'll tell you what, people always forget this. He's usually the reason you get to the arena though. He is a really good fucking, like, look, he doesn't have crazy eye test, but I'll tell you what, this guy can frag in a normal game with no pressure. You put him in a group stage game, you put him on like his 3 or 4 best, he will frag, he will consistently give you numbers. Magisk isn't that guy right now, guy. He hasn't been that for years at this point in time. So the problem I have with this move is, unless there's another move coming, unless this is like the VP one where like, this isn't the end, we're just going to like bring him in and then we're going to do it. Unless there's another big move coming down, I don't see how it works, especially because I already think even with Stown, they had like slight firepower issues in this squad. I think they're going to be in trouble, Astralis. Like, I actually genuinely think if this is the lineup for this season, I think they're going to be irrelevant. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. What do you think, Sixy? Where are you at on this move?
I don't think they'll be irrelevant. I think it will be interesting to see how the dynamic works a little bit, because I think Stair's going to be way more as a star, like their star rifler, right. And I think he's been taking over the role more and more. And like, I don't think Stown has been playing necessarily like poor, but I think Magisk kind of feeling like going in and taking over, I think could be interesting. Like, I mean, his experience is gonna be good. Like, obviously they wanted a Danish player, like overall, like. So I mean, there's only so many to pick from, and I'm not really familiar with that kind of scene, to be honest. And I think I think there's a couple other teams in like that are playing. I think you have there's a couple other teams in the scene. So I mean, if you're looking for someone that you're just kind of like, you don't really want to have to mold and just play, like, Magisk is definitely the option to go with. And I think that it would not require as much work as then, like, getting someone else that's like, still kind of like, a tier 2 player necessarily that might be better, but Magisk has also proven himself to be, good overall in the years. And like, I mean, like you said, he gets you to the arena. And I mean, if the other stars in the team can, carry, I mean, I think it'll be fine as long as he can hold his own. I think like you said, he played better at the NFL Falcons too. And, I don't really have like a big, thing on the move. I think it's not like horrible. I think Stair should be the more of the star, and I think Yabi's been playing really good lately, and I think Huxley's actually been calling really well, honestly.
Yeah, that's
so
all
fine. I think that it can be just better. I mean, Device is Device. Like, I mean, you can't really say, there's not much to really say about Device. He's just good. But I mean, I think with Huxley's style, and I think maybe this could be something different. Maybe they just needed a tune up, and maybe this will be if Stair was actually having or Stown was having health, like like the health issues or whatever it was, and didn't want to like he needed to take a step back. Maybe that was like.
By the way, on that, a little detail on that, since you brought it up, the reason I didn't mention that intentionally is, in theory, if he actually does have some sort of either mental or physical health problem, that means he has to step away. Yeah, of course, totally understandable. The problem is you're playing for a team called Astralis. I will never believe for another second in my life ever about health problems. You have repeatedly abused that, not only for like this core, you even did it in the past with other players. So I'm sorry, if you're Astralis, you're in the wrong fucking team. Boy, you cried wolf, mate. So on that one, we'll say it's possible, but who knows? That could easily just be a lie to come
who
up
knows? I mean,
Who knows? Who knows on that one, mate?
Who knows? But I mean, he hasn't been playing like horrible. I don't think. I think he's been probably struggling the most, like the most recently. Like I mean, from like what I've like always like seen the last couple of months, I think he's like been the one like that catches an eye. Like he's usually way better than this. Like what happened? Like was it like CS2? I mean, Astralis also wasn't playing good for a while in CS2 until he got Hooksy. So I mean, maybe he'll just like kind of buff up everybody else. Like if he can move Stare around in like some of these other roles and get him fired up again. I think he's been playing. I think like even though his rating shows it's not that good, I think like watching him play, like I think he has really good mechanics and he can actually be a star on the team.
Put it this way, I don't want to make a whole separate thing because that would just become a giant sidebar. But all I'll say is this. When you say that, I don't blame you. When you say, like, but who else could you sign? I agree. If it has to be some unknown player from Ecstatic, I say, yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I'm just going to say this. Do you know the reason that people claim Blame F had to be kicked from Astralis? Because his roles overlap with Stoun's. If you're Astralis, get out a pen and pad right now. I am sorry. How many zeros do you want? There you go, Blame F. Like, mate, that player could walk in tomorrow and frag from those roles. Like, he does it right now with Fnatic anyway. That's by the by.
Well, I feel like nowadays you should be able to play like most roles. Like, I mean, like anchors aren't going to be like star roles, but like I feel like on T side, like there's not really a support player now. You have to kind of be able to do it all. So like, you have to like. I mean, it's good for Magisk to have that experience because I mean. He can kind of just fill into whatever he needs to, right? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be worried about him on like the lurks or whatever. Like, he knows what he has to do. He's been playing the game for so long. I think he can mesh in pretty well. But I mean, that's like why I don't think it would be necessarily to like bring in someone. You have to kind of catch up to speed, and like maybe it won't be as good. Like, I would have probably done the same thing. Magisk like would be the easiest option, the easiest way to fill. And I think he's, I don't think he's actually been terrible in the last couple months either.
Come on then, Maui. Where you at on this one?
It's tough. I mean, I think most weirdly for Astralis, Stoun was, when I look back at it, when this move happened, I was thinking to myself, like, wasn't Stoun pretty good? But then his recent numbers have actually been all pretty bad. And I guess I hadn't been watching everything from Astralis as closely because, I'll just be frank, the Fisher event that they did pretty well at, I really was kind of checked out of that because it was only on Kick. But so the other events, when I saw him, I thought he looked pretty decent actually. So I was kind of confused by that. But I do have a gap in my knowledge because of that one event. But even at the Astana event, I thought he was pretty darn good. Like Astana was where I was like, oh, okay, this is working already. Hooksy is fixing things, and Stoun's the benefactor of Hooksy's improvements to the structure of this team. However, the last couple events have been bad to them. I mean, the Esports World Cup and the bounty. The bounty they lost to Mouse, which to me is not really a team you should be expecting to beat today if you're Astralis anyways. And it's just really curious. I can't really say with certainty that it's going to make the team absolutely worse because Magisk was actually pretty good for the last 3 or so events that he played with Falcons. Once he knew he was getting cut, it's like Magisk finally decided he was going to play well, and then he actually just started trying a bit harder. I made a video about Magisk and the replacement being like the Astralis recycling their players and everything, but it's a little bit more than that despite the clickbait thumbnail for it. I was really kind of thinking more about the fact that, I don't know, Magisk just seems like he needs motivation. I feel like I'm seeing this now with everybody on Falcons. It really does feel like this is kind of like what we got for VP back in 2017 or something like that, when they finally got that like 25K a month salary that was just absurd at the time for Counter-Strike players. Then they all just started playing bad. And I think that's still true in this day, even though 25K a month is still a crazy amount of money to make even today.
Yeah.
It's just that 25K a month is much more normalized for tier 1 teams, but the Falcon salary is so absurd that once you get that salary, you probably do start to take your foot off the gas a little bit. And I think that's affecting everybody on that team right now. Frankly, I think it affected Zonic. I think it affected Nico. I think it affected Tessa.
Put it this way, because this is like, you're right, we've done this topic with VP before. Here's what my theory has always been about why it means at the end the teams get really bad. Is because in a normal team, right, where you're on the same salary you'll be in the next team and you're on the last team, and it's just a normal, market value, you don't think about the salary. You think about things like, how good is the team? Where are we going? Are we actually winning right now? Does my role make... If you're in a team where, as you say, people don't know, at the time, that was like almost the number one salary in the world, and it was something mad, like 3 times more than people used to make 2 years before. So that was crazy money, which, by the way, Falcons money is comparable to also. You get bonkers salary money, obviously, in first class flights and all that shit, right? So I will say this, my joke goes, when you're getting paid that kind of money every month, win or lose, instead of thinking like, oh, but where am I? What you do is you just think, how do I keep getting that salary every month? That, because when the things go bad, you just protect. So what my joke always was, whereas in a normal team, you'd have like a fight with someone and you'd have a blow up, like, I should have your role. Like, no, what you do is you go, yeah, I did play like shit last month, but you know what? I'm willing to give it another go. You just do that, because it's like every single month you delay getting kicked or replaced, there's another 50k or whatever it is. Like, mate, you only have to do a few of those and it fucking adds up. So in a fucked up way, I know what you mean. I feel like when teams like that are bad, everyone just sort of becomes selfish and just protects the crazy salary and tries not to be the one that gets kicked, which isn't the way a normal team functions. A normal team's supposed to be, like, where are we heading and what are we all doing with our careers, and is this allowing me to perform well? I feel like that's where money can, like, actually ruin a team in some sense,
I mean, do you think that like when the whole Falcons, like when they bought this, like the heroic team, at least, like or there was the core matches, when they bought that core, I mean, do you think that like they probably, like, Magisk probably knew down the line, and Dexter maybe.
Oh, you meant the one this year, right?
Yeah, like when they actually went to Falcons, like, do you think that deep down they probably knew that they were kind of like stepping stones for these players to get freed up a little bit?
Put it this way, even though it didn't happen at the beginning of this year, so people thought it wasn't going to.
Well, it couldn't happen because of the VRS.
Sure, but what people miss is this. All those rumours, as far as I know, last year about, like, maybe they signed Imfight, and then maybe get this person, and then maybe even fucking this player would join us. As far as I know, most of those are like they're not real in the sense that the deal wasn't almost done, but those are things that potentially they were interested in, they were thinking about, and maybe they'd even contact those people. So I do think, like, how it is in the scene, mate. Probably the biggest misunderstanding for casual fans is they really think that, like, when someone gets kicked from a team, you wake up and go, what the fuck? You at least hear the rumour, you hear it through a friend of yours if they're thinking of replacing you, or if they're like, if all of a sudden they're magically contacting someone, eventually the word gets back to you. You have a sense. And by the way, it can go both ways. Sometimes it makes you, fucking fight back against it, and it actually makes you play awesome on your way out. I've seen that happen in teams before. Sometimes it, like Dexter, I imagine, probably did that at the last tournament. Sometimes it crushes people's morale, though. Think about it. It's like this Ontix thing we're saying. You're going to be replaced. And because of that, by the way, I'll even add in some other things. Sometimes teammates will be cynical to you. They probably won't even help you at that point in time, or they'll just sort of go, you keep playing that spot or whatever. So I don't think people understand, like, almost certainly they had to know they were going to get kicked. I mean, I always said the same joke. The second Keisuke joined and fragged out, if you're Tessus, mate, I don't care how you play, start preparing mentally for the idea you might not be in this team next year. You just got to be realistic, haven't you?
I rank Tessus pretty high, honestly.
He's pretty good. By the way, he's another player I'd like to see in Astralis. Why don't they pick him up? That would be a good signing.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that, like, I feel like for Magisk, for example, like, I mean, I feel like that core, at least when you got, like, especially when you introduce Nico, and then when you introduce Nico to the team, and then you have, like, I forgot who the other person on the team was. It was like when before Manesi signing, it was
Dexter,
Magisk, right? Dexter and Magisk, yeah. It was when they still had Magisk in that, I feel like it's pretty obvious that, like, you probably know that you're going to be out in the next 6 months when the VRS starts updating, everything like happens. Like, especially when you have the rumors of, like, even in January or whatever, that Manesi was going to meet up with Nico again, and like that they want to be together. And obviously at the beginning, things weren't going well with Falcons, like with Dexter and stuff like that. So you can always imagine that, and you see how fast they brought Manesi, and then you're like, oh, Damn, and I would be worried if I was Magisk, honestly.
Also, here's another reason why. Even though at the major it actually was Monacy and Nico who played like shit, well, you know they're not kicking those guys. They've just got them and paid all the millions. Yeah. So also, if they're going to kick someone, again, if you're testing some Magisk, you're like, fucking hell. It doesn't even matter how well I play. Someone's getting kicked and it's not them, is it? You know? So it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you're kind of like a stepping stone for them to kind of get out of their situation. Yeah.
But again, if you're a stepping stone that is being paid like $50K a month, you know what? Suck it up, Barcop.
You know what? Yeah.
Make it work, mate. You know,
he got his $50K a month for how long?
Like, I feel bad for Tessus in the sense he won't get to play CS for a while. But you know what? I don't feel that bad for him overall.
And I'm sure their bench salary is good enough to where it's
crazy,
comfortable.
Yeah. I bet it's crazy. The joke is you probably get bench salary that's better than like starting players. So at that point in time, you are laughing.
Well, usually it's half of your like a lot of orgs.
In normal orgs,
Yeah, so who knows what Falcons does? Maybe they do 75%.
My suspicion is that they pay more. I actually think there's two. I'll very quickly give you a bit of like, it's not inside info, it's just speculation. I actually have the same speculation about Simple and Na'Vi. I think the part that Simple never told you, maybe we'll find out in the future if he ever comes on the show, I do an interview with him. I would speculate he had, like, because essentially what you're talking about, the meta of doing contracts where the default is you get half your salary if you get benched. Because most orgs know, we might have to bench you one time, it'd be silly. But here's the difference. You know how in the NFL, the same concept, they have guaranteed money and they have the non-guaranteed money, and obviously you don't give like a random running back guaranteed money because what if he like breaks his arm or something, then you fucked, right? But here's the difference: if you are the best running back, that's how people compete when they negotiate. If we both offer you the same amount of money, but I say I'll give you it guaranteed, you can sign with me. So I think Simple, had an insane contract where, because they never imagined Simple would ever get benched, I think he just got his full salary personally. I think that's why he's just being chilled for fucking 1 year.
It's probably above like it's definitely above that 50%.
And he was making so much, it's like he could just chill. And then I would imagine the same thing with Falcons. If they really have got unlimited money, that would be a great way to get people to sign. Like, look, even if we bench you, you get the money. It's kind of a good selling point.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually I didn't really think about it like that, but no, you're right.
Because then how can he complain? It's also a great way, by the way, to make someone not complain the way out. You know,
wasn't there videos of Simple like on the beach when he was benched too, and like or like driving around just having life?
This guy, listen, it's not really a new problem, is it? This guy doesn't understand PR. Like, he was benched, he wasn't playing Face It, and he for real was getting videoed like in like a fucking sports car, like, shh, get in, bitch. Like, what are you doing? What is this? Mate, we're already trying to get them to sign you again. You look like you don't even play CS. You look like you're Conor McGregor. Like, he's not coming back to the UFC, guys. His fucking party was
no wonder Na'Vi didn't love him or anything. They're like, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, and then people are like, why don't they just lower his buyout? Like, why the fuck would you? Why would you? Anyway,
they're probably paying him. I don't know what his salary was, but they're paying him $50K a month to just sit at the beach.
Nuts. It'll be something nuts. Yes, exactly. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.